welcome back to SlydeBytes. So, if you're not familiar with the channel, this is a budget guitar and gear review channel. But we've been taking a little bit of a break from guitar reviews and gear reviews because I've been trying to really do a series focused strictly on beginner guitarists and people getting into this, and trying to help you kind of find what to buy, how, and how much to spend. Kind of not how much to spend necessarily as in actual amounts, but what you should be looking at quality wise, things like that, and first gear. For a new guitar player, or should you spend more on your amp, more on your guitar, that kind of vibe, or what do you need for your home, that kind of thing. So, or for gigging out, because some of you might some of you might just jump right in it and be ready to gig out. That's awesome. So today, this is going to be part three of our beginner series. We are today going to discuss what I consider to be the 5 most important skills or lessons that I myself have kind of learned over the time of playing guitar, and this is not a 100% list, like definitive list. There's so many things I could put on this list. I had to just pick 5. Finally, I had to just break down and just, okay, like there's so many things I thought of that could be important, but I don't want to overwhelm you guys with too much information because there's a lot here. And I mean, we could talk about scales, we could talk about all this like wiggly stuff and all the. Turn some volume back on. But there's not really any reason to overwhelm you guys with all kinds of, doing hammer-ons and all that. Let's start with the basics, because that's where a lot of us are going to start off at. And not a lot of us are just going to come to this as 100% pure natural guitar players that are just amazing out of nowhere. Some of you might, and that's awesome. I definitely did. So, number 1 lesson that I learned over time, and let's go ahead and give myself some volume here with back. We are today playing, this is the Squier Bullet Strat. This is an FSR, got around 200-ish, I can't remember exactly now off the top of my head, but somewhere around 200 bucks. And it's in drop C sharp, or D flat, and we're playing through the Boston Top 50 back here, which I got around 230-ish. So, this is a giggable rig under 500 bucks. I totally gig this without any issue. Anyway, so, first thing I'm going to recommend is learning your chords or learning how to read tabs. That's extremely important if you're going to be a guitar player. Being able to make your chord shapes and recognize them on your papers or on your app, whatever you're using. Being able to know where you're going with chords and everything. Chords are the foundation of all of our music. The joke used to be growing up, and I think it still kind of persists, that pick 3 chords and make a song, and you can pretty much make a song with only using 3 chords. I kind of just, in a way, was doing that same thing. But it is kind of a thing. For me, I always tried to do 4 when I was, learning. So anyway, so that's the kind of thing that's going to be really important to you starting off. Tabs are not necessarily they can teach you chord shapes and they can get you pretty far. If you don't read music, this stuff is even more critical. I don't read music, that's just how it is. But tabs will help you learn whole songs by just showing you what finger corresponds to what fret and where at on the string, or on each string, which fret, all that. Learning to read tabs and learning how to make your chord shapes. If you can learn how to recognize chord shapes, that will help you tremendously down the road in getting started on guitar. So that's something I definitely do recommend, is learning your chord shapes and learning how to read tabs, so you can actually start learning music. Point 2. It doesn't do you a whole lot of good to know your chord shapes or to be able to read tabs without knowing how to do strum patterns. Learning how to do different strum patterns these songs. It's not all just... That's one of the hardest lessons I've had for teaching people, was teaching them how to do strum patterns. It's very difficult to just come right off of, out of nowhere and learn strum patterns. It takes some wrist, manipulation. You gotta know how to, move your wrist in a natural way to make. And it's one of those things it's just, for some people it will come naturally, for some people it does not come naturally. And over time you'll learn how to, how to hit individual strings that you're actually aiming for while strumming. And it's not something that's going to come naturally to a lot of people, so pace yourself, take your time when you're learning your tabs, your chords, and your strum patterns. That's very important, to take your time. Don't get overwhelmed trying to learn these things. Just relax, breathe through it. Try to get, even if you're only learning one chord at a time, you're still making progress. That's how I see it. Next is learning how to count in my head, and that's really important for like a lot of punk rock and hard rock or faster. So actually, it's important for all music, but it's really something that when you need to start counting. Let's go ahead and give ourselves some gain here. So when you start counting, learning how to keep a rhythm and make a rhythm and count those chords in your head, or those the beats and strum, all that do that together in your head. Get your beat right, get your strumming right, and do that together. Now you're in business. Now you're starting to actually make music, and now we've moved in. I've been doing power chords. That's something else that's very important. And again, with chord shapes, power chords, strum patterns, and all that. Especially doing faster music, you're going to want to start learning the. You're going to want to start knowing that stuff, because that's how you're really going to start getting into it. Again, learning to count those, transitions between chords and your patterns and everything with it. And, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That was really important to me. So moving on, going into another really important thing that covers a lot of ground is going to be maintaining your instrument. These strings are not going to last forever. In fact, this one is probably going to need new strings pretty soon. Learning how to restring your instrument, tune your instrument. There are guitarists out there that do not know how to tune their instrument, and I don't understand it. They can play, but they can't tune. I've heard it, I've seen it, I don't know how to explain it. Learn how to tune your own instrument, learn how to change your strings. That will save you a ton of time. And learning how to do setup and action work on your guitar, adjust your truss rod. This is why I picked a Squier for this, or a Strat. It's so easy to see all the parts. Adjusting your bridge height saddles, or bridge saddle height, that's going to be really important too. Learning how to do all that stuff is going to be critical to being a successful guitarist, because these things will move over time. Temperature affects a lot on guitar. Environments affect a lot. Being able to adjust and fix guitars on the fly is really important. Be able to change your own strings is very important. And further, I'd add a little bonus tip in there in maintaining is learning how to do alternate tunings. Because once you start getting into alternate tunings and you start advancing as a guitar player, you're going to want to start learning other tunings, possibly to learn other things. And that's going to be the last part of this video. But yeah, make sure you know how to maintain your guitar, adjust things, do your truss rod adjustment, change the strings, adjust your bridge, all that stuff. It's going to save you a lot of money and setup work from other people. And it also kind of, in my opinion, brings you closer to your instrument. You know it better. It becomes family. The guitar becomes a piece of you if you know how to start doing your own adjustment work and everything. You're not only just playing it, you're getting into the nitty-gritty of what makes this guitar, why it is so close to you, why you enjoy playing it. It's an awesome experience. and once you start getting into alternate tunings for other music, it's really important to know how to do a lot of this stuff to maintain your guitar. Speaking of alternate tunings and learning other music, that's point 5, being open to other genres. So let's go ahead and flip this back. Learning how to play other genres of music is very awesome. Being able to go from country to bluesy to, you know, to being able to do coffee shop style finger stuff and, you know, metal and punk and all that. It's awesome. You learn a lot of skills, a lot of valuable insight into how those guitar players are playing, and you learn to appreciate the skill of other musicians. And that's something that I think is really cool. Because we all actually, even if our tastes completely vary, I'm not really a country music guy, but I can appreciate a lot of country musicians still on their guitars. Love to listen to the guitar players play because it teaches you a lot about your own playing. You learn skills and tricks from those people regardless of the genre. And I have learned more skills by playing. I used to do a lot of blues, a lot of metal, and a lot of hard rock, and, you know, kind of some grungy, sludgy stuff here and there, new metal kind of things. I do a lot of that stuff with this channel, and I've learned a lot of tips and a lot of tricks just by listening to other musicians play, whether it be Slipknot, Justin Johnson, Breaking Benjamin, Sum 41, doesn't matter. I am listening to all kinds of music, EDM, dubstep. I listen to a lot of stuff, and I've learned a lot of beats, transitional skills between chords and things like that, scales. I've learned a lot of stuff just by listening and watching other guitar players. I highly recommend opening your musical soundscape up to hearing other people play and enjoying other genres other than just, separate. Don't, again, like I was saying before in another video, don't pigeonhole yourself into just one thing. Be willing to listen to a lot of other things, a lot of other music. There's a lot of different genres that can teach you something. Be willing to listen. However you choose to, explore other soundscapes and other music. If you like video game soundtracks, if you like video games, listen to video game soundtracks and orchestral and things like that. You'll learn something. It teaches you. You'll learn, musical compositions in your own way. You're kind of starting to understand and learn some other, find another way of learning music theory by having someone teaching it to you by listening to what they're doing. I think that's really important and really cool. It's not the same, but it will help you understand, more of what other people are talking about, and you'll have sounds in your head that you might not have otherwise. It's cool inspiration. So anyway, we're gonna leave it off there. Those are my top 5 lessons or skills that I've picked up over the last 16 years of guitar playing, and I hope that this was helpful and beneficial. I really appreciate all you coming back. There might be some more of this beginner stuff coming up soon too, but I've also got a review or two I'd like to get out too soon, so I'm not sure which will come next, but be watching for either. There will be more beginner lessons and things like that, and there will also be some more guitar reviews coming up. So keep an eye out. I appreciate all of you keep coming back. Please like and subscribe if you feel like I've earned it. I will, be uploading to SoundCloud more original music, and Instagram, and Facebook, Twitter, all that stuff. So And you can always find me with funny polls, or fun polls, I should say, and just other stuff here on the YouTube community page. So please check those out as well. Thank you again so much. Keep shredding, partners. I will see you soon with more guitar content.